Alright, so, man, I haven't did a video in a minute. It's been a minute, man. It's been a long minute. Alright, so today, man, I was sitting here thinking, trying to get the camera straight. But yeah, I was sitting here thinking, me and my wife was talking about some things that go on in our subconscious, that, you know, things that we don't really think about that go on in our subconscious. And that kind of, for some reason, just led me to think about this one idea. Okay. So I want you to, you know, pay attention to this one idea and kind of think about how it relates to your life. So what I'm trying to say, how should I say it? I'll say it like this. These objects, right? Like these things, you know, TVs, cars, houses, phones, right? Clothes, whatever. I might have said clothes, but whatever it is, name it, you name it. Whatever things that have been created, these objects, these mere objects, okay? Even food, right? These mere objects that we buy, we use every day, right? The point is not these objects. The end game is not the objects. Like, that's kind of what I really been thinking about. The end game is not these objects, man. Like, it's not about the car, right? The end game is not the car. The end game is not the house. For any reason, right? It doesn't matter if it's, I want my family to have a Subaru, or I want my family to have a Mercedes. It doesn't matter. Like, the end game is not about the object. Okay. So our whole lives are spent working, grinding, being depressed, being stressed out over these objects. Okay. So think about that. Our whole existence, for most of us, right, is geared toward maintaining and acquiring these objects. When I think about it like that, it kind of makes me sit back and say, wow, is there more to life than acquiring and attaining and maintaining these objects? Like, it's bigger than that. You know, it's way bigger than that. And that's what most people don't understand. And it's no different, right? Then think about back in the garden. Perfect example, right? Perfect example. Back in the garden, okay? Satan used an object to distract human beings away from what was bigger than the object. It's no different. All he did was took some fruit, okay? He somehow, influenced Adam and Eve behind this object, this single object. I mean, I don't know if it was an apple. I mean, I don't think it was. Could have been, people say a pomegranate. Regardless of what it is, right? It's an object. And Satan got behind this object to completely destroy the lives of these two people, right? The point was never the fruit. It never was about the fruit. It never was about the garden. It never was about the trees. It never was about the beautiful pathway in the gardens. It was always about something bigger. It was always about God. Always, right? It's always about something more important, something bigger, something more transcendent than an object. And the sad thing is, we go through our whole lives focused and centered on objects. That's it. Like, that's the matrix that we've been well, we kind of enslaved ourselves to this matrix, but that's what it is. Like, our whole lives are centered around these objects. And what we don't understand is these demonic entities, these demigods, these lowercase g gods that are stunting, their whole mission is to get you distracted from the God. Okay? Their whole mission is to get you distracted from the God, and they want your attention diverted to these objects. I don't care what your reason is for acquiring these objects. It could be the most noblest idea. It could be the most noblest idea. Now, these objects are not good and bad in and of themselves. I mean, they're not bad in themselves. It's kind of warm in this room. But the objects are not bad in themselves. That's not the point I'm making. So I'm not saying, okay, all these objects are bad. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is these objects can be used to glorify God. These objects can be used in a way that does not worship. Because we're not, these objects are objects. At any point that we decide these objects are worth more than anything else in our life, we've missed the point. Because our whole lives, everything, it's not about these objects. It's not about the money. It's not about the houses, the cars. We're missing the point. And like I said, for any kind of reason. Like, the point that I really want to make is to get you to think, like, how are you using these objects, right? How are you using these objects? And even for myself, I have to continue to fight. Okay, how am I going to use this, or how am I going to use that, right? Because like I said, it's not bad, right? Like, these speakers behind me, they're not bad, right? But how am I going to use them in such a way that transcends these objects, right? How am I going to, right? So that's my point. And we spend a lot of time idolizing and worshiping these objects, and it's Satan has been doing the same thing that he always did from the beginning. He's using objects to get us distracted from what's bigger. Okay, so we spend our whole lives enslaving ourselves to maintain and keep up with these objects, when the point is never was about the objects. Never was about that. And so I mean, that's where I'm at. It's I don't want to be too long with this vid, man, but so think about that. Think about think about these objects that you use every day, whether it's money, whether it's your car. Like, these objects are objects, and at any point that these objects are our gods or idols, they have then become a distraction away from that which is more meaningful. That's why I talk about meaning in my work, whether it's writing, music, business, investing, whatever it is. Like, for me, everything goes back towards a bigger purpose and meaning than, oh, I want to acquire $1 million for the sake of $1 million. It's never about the $1 million. It's never about the $1 million. Like, so what? Like, you got 1 million, you got 10 million. It doesn't matter. Like, what are you going to do that's bigger than the money? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, do something bigger with the objects is my point. All right. Do something bigger with the objects. Figure out ways, man, to use these objects in such a way that transcends the objects themselves. When you can do that and you can focus on that, you get over the idolization, or if that's a word. I don't even know if that's a word, whatever. But you get what I'm trying to say. These objects can become idols. And they can enslave you. They can make you live very unhealthy lives. I've seen that. They can stress you out. I've seen that. And I've been stressed out over objects, even if it's money, even if it's a house, a car. Like, there are just objects. That is it, right? What's more important? And that's at this point in my life, man, that purpose and meaning transcends everything. And I don't know, man. Like, it's something that we all have to come face to face with and think about. Because at the end of your life, at the end of my life, these objects, you know, they won't be nothing. They won't be worth nothing. And the only thing you can say is, hey, I've used this object to do this and do this. Or, man, this object made me live a very unhealthy life. And shame on us, because we got the blueprint. We got the blueprint. Now it's about building. Now it's about using these things, these gifts and abilities in the most transcendent way that are beyond our wants or even needs sometimes. And that's hard. That's hard because it's a paradigm shift of saying it's a paradigm shift of you wanting your life to mean something other than, like I talk about, being a cog in a machine. So this is way longer than I expected, but I feel like I needed to say that. So, all right, peace. Human Earl.